president says that I am not MAGA, and that's true. We can't rely on him, and we can't rely on the Americans anymore. President Trump will be popping champagne when he finds out that Mark Carney is leading the Liberal Party. Instead, Liberals have spent the last 3 months raising money for Mark Carney and fighting for power within their own party. Mark Carney did when he backed down to Donald Trump that Canada could have helped defund Putin. If we had thousands of cubic feet every day of natural gas going to Europe from Canada, would Putin have been able to fund a 3-year-long war? Joe Biden doubled the softwood tariffs on Canada. There's nothing Donald Trump can do to stop us from building homes in Canada. The president says that I am not MAGA, and that's true. I'm Canada first. Canada will never be the 51st state. I will always put my country ahead of all others. Now, I have no doubt that the president would love to have Mark Carney as Canada's Prime Minister. Why wouldn't he? Mark Carney did exactly what Mr. Trump asked for. He moved his company headquarters to Trump's hometown 6 days after the president threatened tariffs on our country. Carney supported carbon taxes on Canada, supported blocking pipelines in Canada while he invested in American coal. Carney's policies, which Trudeau implemented, pushed $500 billion investment dollars out of Canada to the U.S., exactly as Trump wanted. So Trump would love to have a weak prime minister like Mark Carney who will sell out our country and drive jobs and money abroad. He probably doesn't want a strong leader like me who will axe taxes, greenlight big projects, make this the best place in the world to do business, and bring home the hundreds of billions of dollars of investment that Carney-Trudeau Liberals have driven south. I think the Liberals are trying to cover up the fact that they've been very good for President Trump. They've given Trump everything he's wanted, despite the song and dance the Liberals put on. Look at the facts. Under 10 years of this Liberal government, they have pushed a net $500 billion of investment out of Canada into the U.S. They blocked pipelines to the Atlantic and the Pacific, which forces us to give almost all our oil to the Americans. They said that LNG plants did not have a business case, so now we have to give 100% of our LNG exports to the Americans for $4 when we could be selling it in Europe for $14. They raised taxes on investment and business, which has forced company after company to leave the country. And don't take my word for it. Mark Carney says that America is a better place for businesses to locate than Canada. The environment minister said the other day that the resource minister said the other day that Mark Carney was making a good shareholder decision by moving his company out of Canada. That is the message that Liberals give Canadian business. Go south to the U.S. That's precisely what Donald Trump wants to hear. I think President Trump will be popping champagne when he finds out that Mark Carney is leading the Liberal Party, because he knows that Carney will sell out Canada again. By contrast, I will put Canada first. We will cut the taxes, speed up the projects, bring home production to our country. We will be a self-reliant, strong, and sovereign nation that restores Canada's promise. Speaking of pushing money out of Canada, we know that is exactly what Mark Carney did when he backed down to Donald Trump. On October 26, 2024, Donald Trump threatened tariffs against Canada to take our jobs. 6 days later, Mark Carney announced that Brookfield headquarters would move from Canada to Trump's hometown of New York City, giving Canadian jobs to Americans. And we all know, no matter what the corporate bigwigs tell you, that when the headquarters goes, the jobs and the money will follow soon after. Mark Carney did exactly what Trump wanted. He backed down and sold out our country when Canada was under attack. He did it while he was acting as Justin Trudeau's economic advisor. When asked why he moved the headquarters out of Canada, he said he had nothing to do with it, that the decision was made after he left the company in January. Yet documents show that the decision was made in October of last year at a meeting that he chaired, where the decision was unanimous, meaning he agreed with it. And then he recommended it in writing to his shareholders. Confronted about his falsehood, he now says he should have been more precise. But here's the thing. He was very precise. He said, and I quote, "The decision, the formal decision of the board, happened after I ceased to be on the board." Again, the decision, the formal decision of the board, happened after I ceased to be on the board. That is a very precise statement, precisely the opposite of the truth. The formal decision happened in October, 3 months before Mark Carney left, and he chaired the meeting.
What is your reaction to the exchange in the Oval Office between Donald Trump and Vladimir Zelenskyy, both in English and in French, please?
We support Ukraine in its right to defend itself and to be independent. The aggressor in this conflict is Russia. Russia carried out an unprovoked invasion of Ukraine, an invasion that it has been mercilessly prosecuting for the last 3 years, and Ukraine has been the victim of that invasion. All democracies need to stand with Ukrainians and their right to defend themselves and reclaim their territory. And any suggestion to the contrary is wrong. I would further add that Canada could have helped defund Putin. We could have approved the Energy East pipeline, which would have sent 1 million barrels of Western Canadian oil to the Atlantic, where it could have been shipped to Europe. We could have approved LNG projects in Quebec and Atlantic Canada, as the Germans, the Ukrainians, the Greeks, and others pleaded with us to do. All of that would have broken dependence on Putin. But Justin Trudeau said there was no business case. He killed the Energy East pipeline, and Mark Carney supported him in killing all those projects. Bill C-69 makes it impossible to send our resources out of North America. So what we need to do is reverse this radical anti-Canadian energy agenda that Carney Trudeau have imposed and rapidly approve projects so that we can sell Canadian energy to displace Russia and turn dollars for dictators into paychecks for our people.
Our allies are calling for a coalition of the willing to guarantee the security of Ukraine. You talked about pipelines there, but what tangible military supports would your government provide Ukraine, and does it include Canadian troops on the ground?
Thank you for your question. I haven't seen any such proposal. What I can tell you is that we've already supported, for example, giving missiles. We got a thank you letter from the Ukrainian military for the missiles that James Bazan, my shadow minister of defense, identified, and then the government eventually accepted his suggestion to donate them. We also think that the best way to provide support is by selling Canadian energy, breaking the Russian monopoly that finances the war. Putin has total dominance on the European energy market because Canada, under Justin Trudeau and the Liberals, has said no. You know, I wonder sometimes, if we had 1 million barrels of Western Canadian oil going to Europe right now, or 3 years ago, if we had thousands of cubic feet every day of natural gas going to Europe from Canada, would Putin have been able to fund a 3-year-long war? I doubt it. But Justin Trudeau and Mark Carney said there was no business case for exporting LNG and oil. Both of them have opposed pipelines. They're on the record. Don't be fooled. The last-minute promises they make before elections are not even worth the promises, not even worth the paper they're written on. Only the Conservatives will repeal the Liberal anti-development law and rapidly export Canadian oil and gas and other materials to break dependence on dirty dictators and bring home powerful paychecks for our people.